So conspiracies to the gym, mental health to
philosophy and
philosophy, and now hot chicks.
Yeah.
That's a good podcast, man.
It is a great podcast, man. This reminds me. This is like the most Joe Rogan-esque podcast I've ever done, and I'm here for it.
Excellent. We appreciate that.
That's what we're going for.
That means a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
man.
Well, I
It's
think,
fun.
I don't know. For me, because, not to knock anyone else out there, but doing just kind of a like super
Interview.
plain interview,
Yeah.
as far as I can tell, you've done
I
those
know.
a few times already, and
Well, yeah. So we did.
so
it,
it's the same conversation, right?
did it in the beginning,
Mhm.
and then obviously asking my team for feedback. I was
Yeah.
like, what do you think would make this better? And that's one of the first things I said is like, we like the ones that are more a conversation.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's what I do now, and I tell the guests, it's like, let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's not because I want to get like, because truly, if in the beginning it was like me just interviewing, and I don't know if I wanted them to, like I was just coming from a genuine place of curiosity of like trying to get everything out of them, and I thought that's what the audience wanted. But then turns out they like the back and forth, and
Yeah.
they want to hear you like you're having a beer. They want to overhear a conversation like you're just having a beer with someone.
Well, and people
Yeah,
are
exactly.
multifaceted too, right?
Yes.
Like to have them in and only focus on, oh, you're an accountant. Let's have an interview
Yeah,
about that,
yeah.
right? It's,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a shitty way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Well, and even when you have that conversation, especially in a podcast format, your story like kind of gets trickled in throughout, so
Yeah.
they learn about you
Yeah.
in
Totally.
a like very authentic way, and they still get the stats, but not in like a boring way of like, all right, I was born on this day, my favorite color is blue, and right.
Totally.
No.
And you know what's I think a really I guess valuable tool for like marketers and business owners is to realize that when you go online, the more formal you are with something, that's your instincts, is that the more formal I am, the more professional I'm going to come off, the more business I'm going to get. And it's like, it doesn't work that way. The more formal you are, the more red flags go off when the consumer sees you. And it's like, I don't want to watch this. They're going to pitch me on something, or this is going to, like,
Yeah.
nowadays
Yeah.
people want to see like realness. And that doesn't mean if you're a real estate agent that you should go on social media and be unprofessional or say something inappropriate or anything. It's just, but be a real human. Like,
yeah.
just be real. And that's what the interview is you think it's so that was my instinct, and I got caught in that trap, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but I thought the more professional this podcast sounds, the more people are going to want to listen. And it's like, no, the more they tune out. Be a real human being, be authentic, be real, and just be casual, and people will want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, even for, I mean, like, I'm a real estate agent, obviously, but
Yeah.
I host a podcast called Long and Hard Podcast.
I was going to just bring that up. Yeah.
Right? Like, I kind of was tiptoed around it before, but now I don't really care because I've made so many more serious connections through this that I think will lead to some business on that end of things.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say kind of the authenticity of it, of like, let's say a client, because I get a lot of clients from like outside different sources of business, obviously. Let's say someone like wanted to list their home with me and they're like, oh, but I found your podcast with Kaylor Betts and you guys talked about the Chinese government
Yeah.
and I don't really want to list my home with you. I'd say good.
Good.
Like, you're
They're
not
not
someone I
your
want to
target
work
market,
with, right?
100%.
That's now I have time to focus on the people who are my target market, right? So
Being I was just going to say that being polarizing is actually a really strong technique. Grant Cardone, say what you want about him. I like some of his stuff. I get annoyed by some of them, but sometimes he hits the spot for me. And he said a really great quote that resonated with me like crazy. He was talking about being polarizing and just like being authentic, being real, speaking your truth. And he's like, if I can get half the country to hate me, maybe I can become president of the United States. And I was like, fuck, that's such a good point. Like, Donald Trump, half the country, literally, well, maybe a little more than half the country, want to see him basically dead.
yeah.
Like, I would say that half the country probably would say that him getting assassinated would be a good thing. And then the other half, the reason why or I guess half the country is like that. And then the other people love him so much that they are ride or dies. And it's because he's just polarizing. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to work on a little more, is like really speaking my truth a little more. And like, and it's not that I haven't been authentic. It's just like, now with like cancel culture and like you have to be so careful. But like,
Yeah.
I'm really trying to like, I want to be careful. I don't want to offend anyone, but I also just want to like speak my truth. Like because I do hold things back. I hold things back
Absolutely.
that
I get it.
I can't say because, I'm worried
Yeah.
about like what will people, and there's no ill will in me at all. I don't have a bad bone in my body. I care about people. I'm empathetic. I'm compassionate. But at the same time, it's like you can't really say anything these days, and without it, even, and I'm talking about like, the COVID stuff, even this stuff. Maybe like a month ago, I might have really kind of been like, oh, I don't know if I really want it. It's kind of controversial to talk about masks and stuff. But now I'm like, you know what? Like, and Joe Rogan's been a big inspiration for me on that. That guy says anything.
Yeah.
He'll say anything that comes to his mind, and some of it goes against some of the things he says. People would get canceled for if they were like a politician or a business or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's just like,
No.
just
Yeah.
says it.
And he'll be like, well, and he's the first to ever really like proactively fact check on the go. I mean, I don't
Yes.
like that word, but
Yes.
look something up, make sure he has it right.
Yeah.
He said something wrong about an Oregon protest. He like publicly was like,
apologized.
hey, you know what? I was wrong about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
He
people
also-
tried to like blow that up and be like, Joe Rogan says misinformation, but like posted his apology clip. And it's like,
Yeah,
he was
like
just
what?
literally saying like, hey, I had the wrong information. I should have looked it
know.
up, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And he's also really good at the way he says it. Yeah,
Mhm.
like
yes.
not everyone could pull that off, but I like to think that I hopefully will be, because Joe Rogan's the epitome of like a rational, like you're just like, this guy is so rational. Like it's hard to hate it, and I know some people do hate him,
Yeah.
but he like conservatives like him, liberals like him. Like he's just kind of that like middle.
Yeah.
He's perfect. He's so perfect. He's very perfectly down the middle,
Yes,
I would say.
Yes.
And very, very fair about everything.
Yeah.
Which is good, and which is, I think, what we need in like a, not to be like, oh, society these days, but society
man.
these days. Like, you can't converse with the other side. Him being healthily down the middle and exposing you to new viewpoints from
Yeah.
everywhere. Like, and to be on such a large platform and unapologetically do that, like I think it's
His work
incredibly
is
important.
so important.
Yeah, we sound like
So
such
important.
basic bros right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man. I don't
think
care.
when we look, when we're in
we're that-
50 years, when we look back, like I really think Joe Rogan will be such like catalyst of information and discussion and kind of the zeitgeist of our times. Really,
I really
Right?
hope they fucking do a presidential debate on him.
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
amazing.
Well,
Was that real that Trump actually wanted that?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Trump replied immediately.
He said,
That's
"I'm in."
awesome.
He said,
Yeah,
"I'm in."
That's so awesome.
But that's what you need, is that uncensored 4-hour conversation for
Yeah.
that type of thing.
100%.
Whereas what you're going to get this evening is
Oh.
is going to be sound bites.
Sound bites,
right?
yeah. And it's just, you can't get any progress
Yeah.
done in a
Mhm.
debate like
Yeah.
that. But
To go back to your previous point, though, I think that not giving a fuck is a superpower in 2020.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
to be able to do that, I think you need to go through something that shifts that in your mind, whatever
Yes.
that is for somebody. But there is that one. There's the before giving a fuck, and then there's the after giving a fuck. And for everybody, it differs in what that is. But yeah, I think that if you do speak that truth, you find your real people.
yes,
And
yes.
that's so much more important than trying to get everybody to like you.
100%,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You so well said. You find your people, and like the way we have to really look at it is like, so if I were to say something that I hold on in as a belief in my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and someone's going to literally want to like unfollow me on social media for it, or even try and criticize me for it, if it's something that if it's something I said that I was out of line, I'll apologize.
Mhm.
Like Joe Rogan. I mean, I'm obviously not on that level where an
Mhm.
apology might even be necessary, but
Yeah.
but I like to think so.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, then good. Like unfollow me. Like
Mhm.
you weren't supposed to be there in the first place. Obviously, if it's going to, I just did a video. I posted it yesterday, I think, about disagreements in 2020, how bad we are. Like everyone is just attaching onto their opinions so tightly that it's literally becoming their self-worth and their identity. So that when an external source comes in and tries to tell you you're wrong, it's a threat to their identity. And what we don't realize is for most of human history, we were thrown to the wolves. If our ideas weren't accepted, if our opinions weren't accepted, if we were wrong, we were thrown to the wolves most of human history. So it's like life or death when someone disagrees with you if you're attaching on your opinions so tightly. Whereas like you need to learn to disassociate and realize that like your opinion can change. It's something that can evolve. It's just something you currently have a belief system about. But like don't friggin' hold on to that thing so tight, because what I believed 5 to 10 years ago, I believe the opposite in many regards.
I'm
now.
the same way.
Yeah, I've
But-
changed my mind
yeah.
on so many things.
Yeah, and I mean, the funniest thing is people will go back in your Twitter history or something and be like,
Yeah, of
well,
course.
Kaylor said this
Yeah, of course.
4 years ago.
Of course.
It's like, man, I don't even have the same cells in my body. I'm not even the same
yeah,
person
yeah,
anymore.
7 years, new cells. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
You never set foot in the same river twice, or however that goes, right?
Yeah, man, a wise man once said,
Yeah.
for sure. You never set foot in a river twice?
Yeah,
The
The
same river twice.
same river twice,
because
because it's always moving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
so it's
I
not
love
the same.
that.
Yeah.
for it's not the same and he's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Ooh,
yeah.
We're getting
Second
deep
half
here.
of the quote.
Yeah.
There's
That's like
there's
the
a second
that's
half
like
to
the
it.
third
Yeah.
verse of a song no one knows or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's-
dude.
I
It's